How about now?
Still perfect.
It's perfect.
What the hell?
I don't know, dude. Yeah, it sounds amazing.
That sounds perfect. It's almost too quiet.
I know. I like it. It's good.
It's good.
Well, I'll go back and edit it, and if it sounds terrible, then...
That's fine. Just put it up there.
Welcome to Degos On 3, hosted by Sonny and the Murph, podcasting since 2012. Join us for 1 hour and 3 topics: family, sports, and entertainment. So listen in as you mow your lawn, drive to work, or are grinding at the gym. How's your team going to do this year? What games you playing? Got any crazy family stories you want to share? Grab that drink of choice. It's time.
Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of Degos On 3. I am your host, Sonny, from the Dego Dungeon Northwest location. And in studio with me, as always, is my co-hosting cousin, Josh. Josh, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Sonny, coming to you live from the Dego Dungeon Southeast, where, it's the weather is starting to turn. It's now mid-80s instead of the mid-90s and 99% humidity. It's only like 80-some-odd% humidity. But with the turn in the weather also comes allergy season, which sounds to me like you're going through yourself.
I don't get allergies. I just get sick in the middle of the summer, Josh. It kind of happens every couple years when I exert a numerous amount of energy or mental anguish. I just get sick. And just last week, I did a camp, recovery camp for teenagers, and we had about 30 kids up there, about 15 staff, a lot of stress and a lot of just coordination. And so as soon as day one of the camp hits, my body guard goes down, boom, I get sick, and I've been recovering ever since. But I agree, the weather is changing. Up here, it's been in the 90s for the past few weeks, it seems like. And now it's like 82 degrees. It's cloudy outside. I love it. But in Oregon, that means prepare for 9 months of rain, which is what it is, I guess, Josh. Is what it is. All right. Well, this is episode number 4, right?
This is number 4. We've made it 4 episodes, and can you believe it? We are going nationwide.
I love it. We have listeners, Virginia, Texas, Nevada, Iowa, North Carolina, Michigan, New Mexico, Arizona, Florida, Oklahoma, and Illinois.
That's kind of a big deal.
There may be only ones of listeners in each state, but that's still a listener in each state, man.
That's pretty good. You strove for us to achieve Kansas this past week. We fell short of the Kansas mark. Let's go, Jayhawk State. Get it together.
Yeah. Come on, Kansas. Well, we got Oklahoma. I guess that's backwoods enough. But I kind of want that Kansas backwoods. I don't know. Nothing about backwoods, says Kansas.
I was encouraged to see we picked up Michigan. I don't know if that's Upper Peninsula or Lower Peninsula, but yeah, that was kind of cool to see the Michigan coming strong in the Degos On 3 game.
There we go.
Your turn, right. Wisconsin.
Wisconsin and Kansas. Make our day.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, same format as always. 3 topics, 20 minutes apiece. And moving right along here, let's start with entertainment. All right, Josh, it's our favorite time of year. Not because it's football season, not because your kids go back to school and you have less to worry about on a day-to-day basis. Not because it's not so hot outside and I can stop putting deodorant underneath my pectoral muscles. Josh, it is our favorite time of year because the one game I have been playing since 1992 just came out last Tuesday. And that game is none other than Madden.
It's Madden season.
John Madden football or pro, whatever you want to call it. But It's Madden, baby. Madden 17. I don't even know where to begin. No league this year. New thing.
Now explain that.
You can't move defensive linemen. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. Where do you want to go first?
Well, I think we're due to establish a history of why Madden is such a big deal and how it relates to this freaking show.
It's true. Okay, so 2012. Was it 2012?
2012.
No, it was 2011. It was Madden 12, 2011.
There you go. That too. I think it was 2012. We had turned the year.
It was in January.
And it was like March or April because I moved into the house that I live in now. We started doing radio when I moved into this house, so that would have been March of 2012.
It was right before the Super Bowl of 2012 because I remember there was an update that we started the league and didn't get that last update because we didn't know what we were doing.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so 2012, January 2012, Madden 12. I came across these online leagues. I don't think any of us had ever heard of them before. Either of us had ever heard of them before. Came across these online leagues. All of a sudden, just got cracked on them. And we've been playing Madden. I mean, I've been playing this forever, and we would play online games together, right? I remember one year we had a whiteboard where I think we played over 50 times or something like that. And so we'd always play online, but it was never anything organized or structured or anything, So we discovered these online Madden leagues. We joined one called Rivals. Joined it for about 3 weeks. And after 3 weeks, like anything, I'm like, screw this, I can do it better. So we start our own league called West 360. And then West 360 lasted for, I think, 2 years until Madden, 25?
Correct.
And that's when we started West 1 because everything moved to the Xbox One. And then that league lasted until basically, we stepped out 6 months ago, 4 months ago.
Something like that, 4 or 5 months ago, yeah.
In March of 16. So we ran an online Madden league for about 5 years. Started out kind of rough, just trying to get owners and stuff like that. But really for the last, 3 or 4 years, the league kind of ran itself. Let me take that back. we had owners that stayed because after we've left, the league has not run itself. So we left. League was just fun experience on multiple levels. But this is the first time in 5 years that we haven't had a league. This is the first time in 5 years where I haven't been stressing over what new changes are there, how it's going to affect the CFM, the online franchise mode, how the draft's going to work, how does progression work, what are the glitches, what are the offensive money plays, what are the defensive glitches and stuff like that. This is the first time in years, Josh, that I can remember where I'm simply just excited to play Madden. And that's kind of cool. What are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm stoked. It's a really cool experience. It's definitely something different than what we're used to, what we've become used to. Because our leagues, for those that aren't familiar with it, when you run a franchise mode in an online league the way that we did, it's full of 32 human beings that play in this league. So each team has a representative that acts as owner, coach, general manager, player, all that stuff combined. So obviously when you have 32 people in play, you have 32 personalities that are in play. And so you're not only managing a league, but you're managing the people that are playing in the league. And it creates for, we'll just say, some interesting exchanges and interesting scenarios as you go through it, which is part of what makes it so dang fun. But it's also very time consuming. So as you and I have had life unfold over the past couple of years, we've started to distance from it a little bit, and then finally after this year decided to fully step away entirely. So going back to it now, yes, and not having all the I call them responsibilities, but the obligations, at least to this league, to get it up and running and to get it organized and to get the people organized and to get the rules organized and the websites and the Facebook groups and all the things that you need to do to get organized. We're not having to do any of that. I just get to sit back and play some Madden. And so it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying the idea and the concept of just playing Madden. Now, is there a part of me that definitely misses like an ex-player would say, they always miss the locker room. They don't miss training camp, but they miss the locker room. They miss game days on Sundays. I do miss portions of that, and there are some of it that I look back on now since it's all hindsight, I can look back on it fondly, and I can see the things about being in a league that I enjoyed. But no, as far as like having the again, that not necessarily, I'm not going to call it a burden because it was elective, but having that sense of duty to put all that stuff together and the time investment that was required, I don't miss that one single bit. But I am having a lot of fun playing Madden again.
Would you ever join a league as just a member?
No.
And okay.
No, and I'll tell you why. It's, and I think I've said this on a previous show, not on Degos On 3, but on a previous show. I'm a terrible sideline dad. Like, when I watch my kids play, and really until this year, now that my oldest son is playing in middle school football that's highly organized and they have a great coaching staff, and there's not anything that I have to offer because those guys know exactly what they're doing and know a lot more than I do. But prior to that, I'm a terrible sideline dad. I can't sit back and watch my kid. And not because I'm God's gift to coaching or God's gift to being able to handle kids or anything like that, but I'm invested typically more than the next guy, is that I will make it a priority in my life to, if there's something I don't know about, I will educate myself on it and then be able to transfer that message to an 8-year-old. And I'm just invested in that function of sport. Now, I've just related our league to a group of 8-year-olds, and oftentimes that's the case. But my point is this, is that I'm not going to be good at just playing along in someone else's league because I'm going to continually be on the sidelines looking at them going, oh, you could have done that better. Oh, you should have done that. You should have been available for this. You should have made your and anybody that's willing to dedicate their time and to set that stuff up, God bless them. And just like I say with other coaches, they're the ones volunteering their time. I'm not going to be critical of that person because they're the ones that's putting their time out there, not me. But that said, as the guy sitting back that is willing to put his time in on that stuff, I'm just and doing it as long as we did, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be a good owner because I would be constantly looking at how you could do stuff better or different because it was the way that we would have done it.
That's the same thought I've had. I've basically, I didn't really think about Madden for 4 months, and then once Madden dropped, it just all these memories started coming back, and gosh, there is nothing like when a league is running fluid, when a league is full, when the owners are content, when you're talking junk and a big game comes up and guys want to watch it and you go to put it on Twitch and half the league's watching your game, and then win or lose, you got to go back and face the music in the Facebook group. Like, it's a lot of fun, but it's so much behind the scenes to set it up and make it happen. And all it takes is one stupid owner or one guy to whine a little too much to kind of suck out all the life of it and stuff like that. And so you're right. The headache behind the scenes isn't worth the smiles that it produces. But having said all that, there's still a part of me that's like, man, it's so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. There's no doubt.
And so I've thought about joining a league, just going on, Madden Daddy and posting up there, hey, looking for a league, and just joining one and going, okay, I won't say anything. I'll just join it. I'll just be an owner, and I'll mind my P's and Q's, and that's it. But again, I don't know if I could do that. I mean, I'm just such a loudmouth naturally. And I know what we had worked based on feedback from the owners and the longevity of it. We had a long-standing league and had respect amongst the community. I don't know if I could just sit there and just be an owner. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't just sit there and have a rule in my head that could fix a problem that was happening in the current league if it did happen, and not try to act on it or not try to put it out there,
Yeah, no doubt, and that's the exact problem. Like, I don't know, custom playbooks, for instance. Like, what a fix?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so that's a little inside baseball for those who aren't familiar. But I mean, it's just that's exactly the point. Is that I don't think, and not only is it tough as an owner to just sit there and just kind of go along with whatever, but all it takes is one crooked owner or one crooked owner of the league or commissioner of the league to make one decision that favors somebody, and it just completely upsets the whole balance of it, and then I wouldn't want to be in it anyways. Like, that was one of the things that I think was always led to our success or perceived success or whatever. Like you said, if anything would define our success with this was the longevity and the interest. And, we would do radio shows about our Madden league, and we would have more than double the people that were in our league listen to the show. So I feel like at a certain point, our league got enough attention outside of just the people in it because people respected what we did. And the reason that we got to that point and had that longevity and had that level of interest was because we didn't treat each other with any kind of special treatment. You and I handled our business the exact same as we would for everybody else involved. And one of the things that plagues these online leagues is that guys make decisions that are best for themselves or best for a buddy or a family member or whatever, and it upsets the balance. But you and I, being friends and cousins, we could go and had my brother as part of the league, and at one point one of your best friends as part of the league. We could still make decisions in the league that didn't favor any of us. We just did it. We played everything straight across the board, and I think that's something that's key. And again, these leagues are plagued with that kind of stuff, and all it would take was just think about it. If you joined a league and that happened, and somebody, executed a trade, or it would drive you nuts, and you'd be like, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna dip my toe in the water. I feel like now at this point, in doing everything that we've done with Madden, and you also said earlier, when it's at its best, it's the most fun you can have. To me, maybe playing a game, period, because it's more than just the on-screen.
It's the RPG, it's the playing, it's behind the scenes, it's everything.
Yes, as I used to tell our guys all the time, this is the ultimate guild. This is an MMO. This is an MO, anyways. Is that you know what I mean? Like, you are, when you actually break down the actual screen time, the actual gameplay time that you're playing, when you're pushing buttons and executing plays on the screen, it comes out to about 80 hours throughout the course of a calendar year. But you'll have 300 hours invested into this damn game because of off-season stuff and negotiating trades and all that stuff, all the recruiting.
It's fantasy football with a video game attached to it.
It is absolutely, I'm not going to say ruined fantasy football for me, but I used to love playing fantasy football. It doesn't nearly have the appeal to me. And I'm still in 2 leagues. It doesn't nearly have the appeal to me that it once upon a time did, because playing in an online Madden franchise is the absolute peak of that and gaming. And as a football fan, and NFL being our favorite sport, it's just a perfect, concoction of entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't.
Well, it causes you have to research it at work. You're researching players. You're researching just not only free agents. You're looking at your own players, wondering how long of contracts you should give them. You're looking at upcoming rookies in the draft on which guys should fit your team. Then you're looking at which trades you should make. I mean, it scratches the fantasy football itch in a way that you can't do it on Sundays, because you do all the research just like you do in fantasy football. But then on top of that, you're in control of them once they're on your team. You're not waiting there hoping to catch a touchdown. You're in control if they catch a touchdown or not, which I think is amazing. And it's an RPG, because you get a rookie the very first year, the second year. I guess you get the second year of the second season. And then you build him up 3-4 years, and you hone him based on what you want. So much like an RPG where you choose the magician or the strong guy or the defensive guy or whatever, in Madden you choose whether that cornerback is man coverage or zone coverage. You choose whether that running back is a speedy back or a power back, and then you hone their skills for the next several seasons. I don't think anything comes close to the online franchise experience, Josh.
I don't think so either. And then on top of that, the guy that's the kingdom in the other realm in your land is a human being. And that's the thing, is that it's as much as it's a role-playing game, you're playing the role as outside of that too, much like you would like a Dungeons and Dragons or something. I mean, not everybody's like pretending like they're Arthur Blank or pretending like they're Mark Davis, but the negotiations are the same. When you're negotiating a trade, or you know what I mean, when you're looking at scheduling and all, it's the same thing. And that's outside the game. Again, that's outside screen time. So that's, to me, it was the human element is what is also its downside, but that's also by far its upside. The fact that it's you can go on and play in a franchise mode, or you can play in a role-playing game, any game, pretty much ever, on whether it's PC or whether it's on a console. And there's a certain amount of manipulation that's involved because it's AI, because it can only think to a certain level. It doesn't think abstractly like a human being does. It doesn't take into consideration that are specific to what that person's wants or needs are or tendencies may be, not to the level of the human brain anyways. So that adds this level of complexity to it that is it's completely unmatched. Again, unless there's some other game, some other MMO that you're doing where you're negotiating with other human beings, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'm sure there's one out there.
If you think about it too, the Division, I've kind of stopped playing it after over 200 hours into it. I maxed out my character, got all the gear score, got the tactician builds and the sentry builds and the Alpha Bridge builds and all that kind of jazz. The problem, though, is they're going to tweak it in about a month in September when the new DLC comes out, and they're going to nerf, stuff. And I don't know what they're going to nerf, so I don't know what to expect. But one of the problems with the Division is the PvP versus the PvE. They can't find a good balance with that. And in Madden, it's the perfect balance with it because it's essentially PvE, but yet the PvP aspect is it's what's calling the plays. But yet the person can only control one person at a time or one defender at a time, and then in offense you control where to throw and stuff like that or where to run. And so the balance is perfect. It sets it up in a way to where guys who are a little older like us can compete based on play call and how you build a team versus younger guys who are kind of a little better at twitch skills and user catching and stuff. So it has that perfect balance of PvP to PvE that a lot of these online games struggle with trying to find,
I couldn't agree more. And what's funny is that I was critical for the last couple of years of Madden about that fact exactly, that it was becoming to be a little more lenient towards the Twitch skill players, and it was less competitive for guys like, I'll speak for myself, that I feel like I got a pretty good football brain, but my thumbs can't keep up. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't have the Twitch skills of my 14 or my 13-year-old kid. You know what I mean? Like when I play Titanfall or I play Battlefront with him, he smokes me. Like it's not even close, But when we play Madden, game over, son. You know what I mean? Like because I know the game well enough to be able to compete with him. But when you get guys like that we've had in our leagues that are in their 20s, so they got a pretty good football brain on them, and they still got those Twitch skills, they'll just murder you when it comes to playing them. I mean, it's really tough to keep up, and the game was allowing for certain mechanics that would give an advantage to a player like that. And then this year, the year we quit, obviously, timing have it, they introduced a game mechanic, and I'm going to veer off into game mechanics a little bit and talk about the game itself now. They've got this guess a play feature where you can guess if it's a pass or if it's a run, middle, left, or right. Oh my gosh, Sonny, I'm killing fools online with that thing.
I haven't even done that.
Oh, it's great.
3 or 4
now I got a chance with my football brain to take advantage of it, and I'm killing guys because it's like what I've always said not always said, but in the past couple of years, guys will come out in a certain formation, they'll come out in a certain set, and you'll look at it and you'll be like, okay, I know where the ball's going, but I physically can't move quick enough to catch up to what it is that they're doing once the ball's snapped. But now I can, because if you pick pass, it will expand your zones to the amount of coverage that you're going to get. It will. I don't know if we'll have to dig into this stuff as the year goes on. I don't know if it impacts their play recognition or awareness or whatever it is, but it's doing something that's getting them into position a lot quicker based on what the input you tell them is. Now, the converse of that is if you guess wrong, you're done. Like if you guess, like say you're in like a 3-4 defense and you pick run left, okay? So your guys, although they're not moving necessarily out of position, they're essentially collapsing down on that area. Well, that's
now. Wait. Is this different than the commit? Because they used to have those.
No. This is much different.
Okay.
So essentially, they're collapsing down. Well, I'm not gonna say it's much different. I don't know enough about it yet. But to me, from what I'm seeing, it's different. So what it's doing is that it's collapsing down on that area, okay? Because before it would be like run commit was a general thing. Now you're actually committing to a position. So it's like I'm committing to the middle, or I'm committing to the right, or I'm the left, or I'm committing to a pass play. So when you commit, so say you commit left, and it's a conventional 5-step drop and a deep pass play. Well, your secondary is already cheated in to play the run, and a lot of times that wide receiver's 15 yards already past your DB, and he's gone for a touchdown. So you don't want to guess wrong, or if you're, you know what I mean? Or if you are going to guess wrong, be prepared to be in a defense that will account for not letting somebody skip behind you, because it's real easy to get burned on it too. But the whole point of it, though, is that it gives that extra little bit to a guy like me, to a guy like you. You're better on the sticks than I am, but even to you, it will give you that advantage to be able to exercise that football brain a little bit. So I really, really like that game mechanic that they've introduced.
There's also something I noticed yesterday, I was at camp all last week. I played the early access for a little bit, playing a lot of MUT. Got my team up to 78 last night. There's something I noticed doing the solo challenges, and I don't know if this is like this online or not. I can't move my defensive lineman off the ball. Are you able to do that?
I haven't even tried. I mean, I don't usually do that anyways. I did notice that there's a glitch in one of depending on what set you're in. If you're in a 3-man front and you pinch your defensive line, your nose tackle will bounce backwards about.
I've seen that too. Yeah,
that's a glitch, and that needs to get fixed. And I'm assuming it will with one of the early updates. But no, as far as moving a guy off of the line, I haven't seen that. But if that's the case, good. Because they don't do that. You don't see it in Ndamukong Suh dropping out to cover a slot receiver. You know what I mean?
Okay, shut up. Call me a cheater?
Well, I didn't call you a cheater. I just questioned your gameplay, that's all. Or actually, I didn't even question your gameplay. I questioned your integrity when you're playing Madden. Oh!
Okay. All right, I had to sneeze. So, and the only time I did it was when I knew the CPU was going to do something, so I pulled off the D end. I was going to rush 4, a blitz on the other side, and pull up 1 D end, but I noticed you couldn't do it, which actually made me kind of happy.
Yeah, I think those kind of things are great. I mean, when they introduce those sorts of things, I think it's a good thing. Anything that makes it, like we've always said about these leagues, you can't completely emulate what you see on Sunday. It's impossible because it's a game. Yeah. So you're never going to make it exact. But can you make it close? Or can you make it close? I don't know. But can you put your best foot forward to make it close? Yes. And so things like that they do where it's like that just takes it one little step closer to what the actual game is like, then yeah, I think that's cool stuff.
And it also seems like user catching and defensive user catching. A couple times, there's been some deep passes. I'll get on my DB. I'll go to hold Y or hit Y as soon as the ball's there, and it doesn't work as it did last year. And
nope.
Stuff. I don't know if they tweaked that or if the ball hawk assist isn't on or something like that. But it seems like they really toned that down quite a bit too. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, totally. I've noticed that a lot, and I've noticed that the hit stick doesn't work like it used to. Historically, the hit stick, man, that was my go-to because I may not be good as far as like moving an actual player into place via my twitch skills, but I could react quick enough to select the closest player and hit with the hit stick. If you don't have a player with high hit power now, basically you're going to whiff or that ball carrier is going to bounce off of you or you're just not going to activate it at all. So you got to be real selective. Again, as we go through this thing, we'll know more. I don't have a player yet on my Madden Ultimate team that I've played with that has like a 90s hit power. We'll see what happens when you get a guy like that. But if you try doing it with like a normal, cornerback that's got, 40 hit power or whatever, it don't work. Like you're better off just leaving it alone.
It seems like they also nerfed a lot of speed. I don't see a lot of high 90s speeds in there. Maybe I just don't have my team high enough yet. But even guys that I expect to have 96, 97 speed aren't there. It seems like high-end speed guys are 92, 93. Have you seen any high-end speed guys yet?
No, I haven't. And really about 90, 92, that's about really where it's capping out, which is, they changed how they did speeds last year. That was the whole post-Donnie Moore thing, for those of you
R.I.P.
For those of you Donnie kind of nerfed the way that speed was handled in the game and introduced this regression that happens to players and all this business. Anyways, so when that happened, like when Amari Cooper hit Madden last year, he had a 92 speed, which in the prior games, he might have been like a 95 guy. Well, now he's 92, and that was kind of fast for still. So based on the rest of the league, as you started importing draft classes and things like that came in, we're not importing, but as you started generating draft classes, that 92 number didn't stay as high. But yes, to answer your question, as far as like the Madden Ultimate Team players I've come across so far, I haven't seen anybody with like crazy, like, big speed. I think the fastest guy on my team right now is Latavius Murray at running back, who, again, historically in Madden perspective, would have been like a 93 type guy. Yeah. He's not. He's like 88. And
I think he's 89.
89. Okay, and it feels like he's running a quicksand. Like if you get him on an outside zone run or a pitch play, it's like he's like slow motion. And even though you're hurting down the turbo button and everything, it's like this guy's not going anywhere. So yeah, it's definitely changed.
I wonder if that's across the board. Because I remember last year for drafting, I'd be researching cornerbacks and researching linebackers, and we found that algorithm, where if depending on the position, if like their bench press was this much, if their agility was this much, their speed was this much, they would equate to at least a 70 rating overall or something like that. But I remember last year doing research and looking at the guys, you'd find a cornerback, a defensive cornerback, who'd have like, gosh, I'm trying to think of how it does. I think they do bench presses, right? The reps.
Yeah.
So he'd have like 37 bench press reps.
Yeah.
But then you'd have a linebacker with like 16.
Yeah.
And like that just made no sense whatsoever, So I'm hoping they kind of tweaked that and made it a little more balanced when it comes to the positions and stuff. Because there's no way a cornerback should be out bench pressing a linebacker. Now in certain situations, sure, but this was happening fairly often, And that kind of ruined it for me a little bit. So I hope they tweaked that a little bit too. New coverage team. So instead of Jim Nantz and Phil Simms, it's now Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis. What do you think of them?
I kind of go back and forth. I do like this. Let me start off the positives. I like the freshness of it. Not only the freshness of that we got new voices, and I like Charles Davis. He's a UT guy. I like him, the stuff that his work on NFL Network and everything. I like Charles Davis. He's got a good voice. He's knowledgeable. Like I like him. I wasn't real familiar with Brandon Gaudin. I guess he's done some college football games. I probably heard him before, never realized I was listening to him, frankly. So as far as that goes, I like the freshness of it, that we got a new crew in there. I like the fact that it's not only different voices, but they're different catchphrases. So, because we all kind of got locked into Chris Collinsworth, and you know what I mean? You kind of got used to the same things for, gosh, I don't know how many years there in a row. It was like the same phrases and the same things going on. So I like the fact that that's fresh. And then now they're giving it, I don't know if it's weekly or bi-weekly, or we'll just say regular anyways, updates to what their actual game commentary is. So throughout the course of this football season, as we're playing, we're going to hear them saying different things, which I think is cool. Again, adds to the freshness. It's the way it's not that same old thing that you get locked into your head when you make a certain play with a certain player or at a certain time of the game, and that, or when the game starts, that Collinsworth is going to have the exact same comment about Marcus Mariota that he has every other time he's ever taken the field. So that part of it I like. The parts that I'm not quite sure about is that with this newfound flexibility that the developers have by having this constant flow of content coming in, they've taken a little bit of liberties with some of the stuff, and I kind of get the joke, but it's a little too on the nose for me. Some of the stuff where it'll be like, oh, that's something you would only see in a video game. Oh, I guess we got rushed through that halftime show. I guess no one wanted to see that, or be like, oh, like you can't believe they kicked a field goal. They even kick field. I think they don't even kick field goals in Madden anymore.
Yeah, a little too much.
A little too on the nose on some of that stuff. Where I'm like, all right, I get it. Like, it's it's Deadpool, right? It's breaking the fourth wall. It's like, all right, I get it. And so like that's clever, but that was a little bit, like I said, a little too on the nose. But outside of that, it's okay. I mean, it seems to be relevant. I like the fact that they are, when during the middle of the game, they'll say, RG3, recently named the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, like blah, blah. Like they're talking about topical things as you're going through and playing your game. So, yeah, I think as an overall, I give it probably like a B+ to the new commentary. How about you?
I miss Madden.
Oh, well,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Madden Summerall back in the day?
Oh, yeah, way back when, yeah.
And then it was who? Then it was Collinsworth. And
It was Madden and Collinsworth, right?
Well, it was Madden and Summerall, I thought.
Well, yeah.
And Collinsworth did it for a little while.
Wasn't it?
And was it Madden and Collinsworth?
No, because Collinsworth wouldn't have been the play-by-play guy.
And then it was.
Well, there was the one year. The 1 year there was there was nobody. Like 1 year it was like the PA guy.
Yeah,
remember?
that was weird.
And then we went to somebody in Gus Johnson. That was because that was when he did the whole thing about Chris Johnson. He's like, he's got to get away from the cop speed.
Yeah.
Remember all that?
Yeah.
Like there was that, and then after that's when Collinsworth. It wasn't Madden.
Or no, it was Jim Nantz and Phil Simms.
That was most recently, yeah. But before that, who was it that did it with Collinsworth? You talk. I'll look it up.
So I've always felt the announcing was kind of weak. It was, for the most part, it would work out okay, but then occasionally it would drop in, you'd score a touchdown and it'd say, oh, great hit on that play. Nobody was even hit and stuff like that, So it was off timing a little bit. I'm interested to see how they do the updates for it, how often they do it, and how regularly new commentary is going to be thrown into it. Half the time, I have the game on mute anyway as I'm watching Netflix or something, as I'm just grinding solos and stuff like that. But when I really want to put my headphones on, crank it up, and really get in the moment, the feeling of playing a football game, I'm excited that they're actually addressing that and making some new changes there.
Okay, hang on real quick before we move on. Collinsworth did the color commentary in Madden 9, 10, 11, and 12. 9 through 11 was with Tom Hammond, and then 12 was the year with Gus Johnson. That was a good one.
Okay.
When it was him and Gus, that was the get away from the cop speed, all that stuff. And I like Gus Johnson anyway, so that was good. And then shortly after that, that's when I believe, so for Madden 13, that's when it went to Nantz and Simms. And that was the first time where they actually showed him like in the booth. Right? Wasn't that the year where they actually – because Madden 13, was that Madden 25 or was that the year after?
That was Madden 14.
Madden 14. Okay, so I think Madden 13 was the one where they showed him in the booth and did the kind of pregame show and all that kind of stuff.
Special teams. You can block kicks now a lot easier. Do you like that?
I haven't figured it out yet. I have Patrick Chung on my Madden team, my Ultimate team. He's pretty good as a strong safety, and he lines up on that very far outside edge when it comes to kick coverage. And so when you line up, it gives you there are three players that are highlighted. If you select one of those and then you jump the snap, you have an opportunity to get out and block it. I haven't been able to do it yet. I don't know if it's because I just haven't figured out the timing yet, or it's one of those twitchy things that I'm just not going to be good at. So how about you? Have you?
I blocked one, yeah. I blocked it. I think it was just a grinding Ultimate, so it wasn't anything online or something like that. But you get an achievement for it. It's kind of cool. You get, I think it's 50 points, and it's called the Great White Shark, Great White Elephant, or something like that.
Well, I like those kind of things as long as. If it's something that you can figure out how to do and it's really, really hard to do, so it happens sporadically, that's cool. But what I don't like is if it's something you can figure out how to do and then do it regularly, because that you don't see extra points.
I don't think you will be able to, because you have to hit the right trigger on Xbox at least. You have to hit the right trigger as soon as the ball is snapped, and so it still comes down to waiting for the right timing of the ball snap. Now, in the past, guys have been so automatic, you could time it to where you score the touchdown, the formation comes out, if you count to 3 and then go, the guy's going to snap it, because most of us are impatient and want to kick the extra point as fast as possible. So it actually puts the onus on the offense not to get in such a rhythm for kicking their extra points or field goals. Like you need to sit there for a second, keep the guy guessing, because if you don't hit right trigger as soon as the ball snapped, there's just no chance you're going to get it. So while I do think they made it easier, they didn't make it to where it's going to be glitchy, where it shouldn't cause, guys shouldn't be getting their extra points blocked every single time. And if they are, it's more shame on the guy kicking it than anything else and stuff,
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, we're way deep into this. 35 minutes and counting. Should we go on to our second topic? Or should we just finish out?
No. like we've never done an hour-long Madden show before? Come on, man. Let's do it. Anniversary time.
Okay, anniversary time, Madden. Ultimate Team. That's all I've done. I got my team up to 78 last night. Something new they've introduced, which I don't know if I like it or not, is this whole limited usage card thing. And what I don't understand, I think I have it figured out now. So I had a Von Miller, unlimited usage. He was like a 90, right?
Why? Well, hold on.
Why?
Stop it. You did.
What? He's good.
I don't care if he's freaking a 99 overall greatest player in the history of Madden ever. He's a freaking donkey and should not be used. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Okay. How many Raiders you got on your team right now? I bet you I have more than you do.
Probably.
Well, there you go. Shut up then. Anyway, so I got this Von Miller. He was a 90.
That was awful harsh.
See?
That's
as harsh as my throat. I used them right off the bat, and then all of a sudden I couldn't use them no more.
Uh-huh.
And then you can sell them for like 1 coin. So I'm like, what the hell?
See?
And then I can't add any contracts to them. But on the card, I was going through it, and it said usable for unlimited for H2H events. So could I use him in online head-to-head, but I can only use him for so many solo challenges? Because I also got the Hopkins card last night. I grinded through the passing gauntlet. I got it
That's
about
a good one.
Got it at about 4 o'clock in the morning. Got yelled at by the wife at about 4:03. But I turned over with a smile on my face because I had the Hopkins card. Like those commercials, remember? Remember those commercials?
Yeah.
3 hours of sleep, dragging all day, can't comprehend what your kids are saying to you, yelled at by your wife, but you got your Hopkins
card. And for
priceless.
Years, we've been DeAndre Hopkins fans. Years.
Yeah, he's a stud in Madden,
He's
too.
a freaking
But anyway,
stud, dude. That's a
so
monster card.
My question is this. On the back of it, it says, let's see, there's 30, or it says usable for up to 30 solo challenges or something like that. Unlimited use in H2H events. So as long as he has contracts, because he's like 30 contracts on him, when I play an online game, does it take away those contracts? Or I can use them unlimited online, but it's only the solo challenges that it takes away from. I'm confused.
I'm confused too, and so the first one I got was Urlacher. I got the limited use Brian Urlacher middle linebacker card, and I didn't even pay it because we never had anything like that in the past, so I didn't even pay attention to it being limited use. I just saw, I'm like, oh sweet, I got like a 92 Brian Urlacher, whatever he was. I'm like, this is awesome. So I put him in, and then at one point I go to play a game, and it said you have holes in your depth chart. And it's like, do you wish to fill it? And I'm like, what the heck? And and that Urlacher card was gone. Like, it was just gone, completely gone. And I'm like, dang it, man. Like, I might have, maybe did I find it in my items and I quick sold it or something? I don't even think that. I think it was just gone, like evaporated, gone. So that was my first time. So after I completed the gauntlet, so in the solo challenges, there's different categories. One of them is the gauntlet, and there's a passing group, a running group, and a defensive group. And each category has 16 plays or 16 scenarios in it that you have to beat, okay? At the end of the passing gauntlet, which is what I did first, I got the DeAndre Hopkins card. I used the DeAndre Hopkins card in all of my rest of my solo challenges. In all of the running ones, I used it in all the defensive ones, and I've used it in all of those that aren't in that group, just other challenges that are outside of the gauntlet group. I haven't lost him yet. He's still there, and mine says the same as yours. So I don't know when they actually deplete usage. So I have him as limited use. I have Ndamukong Suh is limited use from completing the defensive gauntlet, and from completing the running gauntlet, I got an Adrian Peterson. I just put them all in my starting lineup, and I'm just going to let them go there until they go away. But I don't expect to keep them. But yeah, because I don't understand exactly how it works. I'm sure if we put more time into it, and actually figured it out. We could figure it out, but in just playing it without knowing it first by reading it in an article or watching a YouTube video from the Muttheads or something like that, with just going into it fresh and no concept of how it works, it's not very self-explanatory.
Okay, I just read online, Madden Ultimate Team on Twitter says this: 1 contract per solo challenges, 2 contracts every time you lock in on a head-to-head. So you could do 30 solo challenges. Essentially, you have 30 contracts on that one player, or 15 online matches.
But see, that's where I don't understand, because if there's 16 running and 16 defensive, and that's 32, and I had Hopkins the whole time, and he's still on my team, and I did more.
But every time you restart a challenge, that doesn't necessarily take away a contract.
Right, I know, but still, it would be more than 30. That's what I'm saying.
No, not if you only restarted them. Oh, I guess because you completed them.
32, no matter what. Yeah, no matter how many times I start. I
Completed
probably got 100 after all the restarts. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Something's funky. There's something that doesn't make sense to me.
I know I can't use my stupid Von Miller card anymore.
Good.
And it just sits there. So I'm going to sell it.
You should.
A coin. That's all it's worth anyway. It didn't do anything for me. But the Hopkins card is nice.
That's a nice card.
But and here's my question though, and I see why EA did it. It's obvious why they did it. They say here, use this card temporarily, get hooked on him. This is what a good receiver is. Now go spend real money and buy this card once you can't use him no more.
First
right?
hit's free, man.
Yeah, and so I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Because what it makes me feel like is like I grinded those challenges. I stayed up all night, to get them done. I didn't know it was a temporary card. You conveniently left that information out and you told me you had yours. And then I get it, and I'm like, gosh dang it, it's another freaking temporary card.
Well,
and I don't know if you can you auction those?
No, you can't. I think the difference to me on this is that while yes, I agree that the temporary card thing kind of sucks. The good news is that once you complete the entire gauntlet, you get a permanent card. Mine was a Joe Hayden. I don't know if they all are, but mine was an 88 Elite Joe Hayden, which is a badass card.
And you get to keep it. It's not
limited use. No, it's keep it. It's got the gauntlet logo on it. That's what you get for completing all 3 gauntlet challenges. So that made it feel pretty good. Plus, you get so much stuff along the way that it's not like you're not getting. You make like, I forget how much money, but you make like 16,000 coins along the way. Plus, you were opening packs and getting contracts, and so I mean, they make it worth it along the way. But then the other thing to me that where they make up for it is that if it wasn't for some of those temporary cards, I'd have never gotten through a lot of the challenges. Like the running one, for instance. Like you have to, like some of them where it's like, okay, you got to score a touchdown in every quarter in this game. Okay. Well, if the quarters are only 2 minutes long or 3 minutes long, by the time you trade a possession,
3 minutes.
You ain't got a lot of time. So, with DeAndre Hopkins, and this is the trick that I was alluding to last night when you and I talked, I wanted to save it for the show. The trick with Hopkins, you put him on the outside in a 5-man set. There's only one team that was able to keep up with him, and that was the Arizona Cardinals, because they got Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu on the back end. So those are like 2 of the best defensive backs in the entire game. So he didn't get free releases and get wide open every time or very easily against them. But outside of that, you put him out there, you send him deep, you chuck it up to him, and he goes and gets it, man. And it's so when you got, 40 seconds left in the quarter and you need to score a rushing touchdown, you let him go 55 yards downfield, you chuck it up to him, he goes and gets it inside the 5-yard line, call timeout, go up there and run it in. Get your rushing touchdown. So he was very integral to me achieving a lot of the other challenges in the game. Same with defense. Like if I needed chunks of yards, that was the card I was going to go to get it. So it enabled you to do a lot more in the game. And then the other part of that, or the other part of me not having my feelings too hurt about the temporary cards, is that there is so much more to do in MUT now than there was before. I thought there was a lot last year. This year, Dude, there's a lot of solo stuff to do. And so you're making money, you're making coins, you're making stuff. So they're giving you plenty of opportunity to earn, enough coin to go out there and to buy players and auction players and to kind of generate without feeling like you got to spend real money on it. So that aspect, because to me, I'm not a fan of microtransactions at all. And I'm really not in terms of this, because all it is it's a quicker means to an end, where it's like I don't want it to be over real fast. I want to build over a period of time. I don't want to just go out and buy a bunch of players and, all of a sudden, okay, I got to, unless I was doing like competitive online MUT challenges or, playing or like, tournaments or something. Outside of that, I don't want my team to be built to a 90+ overall within the first 3 days of having the game. I want it to take a while, because to me that, and I'm really rambling here, but it feels like, to me, that's what feels like the campaign this year in Madden. Those challenges, doing that gauntlet was a blast. I had a blast doing it. It felt like the campaign, where it's like, okay, I'm building up, and it's like it felt like a long-term thing. It didn't feel like just something I was going to jump into and jump out. I mean, which you certainly can, but there was a little more of a marathon view and feel to it that I really, really liked. It's been great. I've had a lot of fun with it.
I was just reading a little bit on some website. It talked about limited time and the gauntlet are the early ones you want to focus on, because they're quick, easy, and they have the best kind of coin and pack rewards, best bang for their buck there. But like you said, it is kind of the campaign, if you will, because I remember a couple of years ago, before I discovered Madden leagues, I was almost kind of done with Madden. I was like, I played with you, I do my own franchise, but how many times can you beat the computer, 65-3, and win the Super Bowl? And it's fun the first time you do it, but, at the end of the day, how many times do you want to do that? And so, I don't know, was MUT around when we started the leagues back in 2012?
I don't think so. It might have been in its infancy. I can't remember what year the first year officially was. It was all kind of around that same time. I feel like we had done the league for a year or two before MUT came in, and certainly before it gained in popularity, where it's gotten to the level that it is now. So, because I'm with you. I'm the same way. I'd gotten to a point with Madden where I'd hit the midnight launch. Back then they had the Madden Challenge, so yep. If I could play in the Madden Challenge, I would do that, or play in like local tournaments, that kind of stuff. And, but I was more of just, all I would do is just play random pickup games, which, the lobby. And so I would just play those, and I might play, one or two here and there, but I didn't have the level of investment or the level of interest in it that I do now. And it's because of, obviously our leagues were what drove all that. But yeah, now with having MUT, it's like there's something else, because I don't like playing offline franchise. To me, there's nothing fun about it, because it's too easy. Like it's
boring.
It's boring. You know what I mean? There's no dynamic to it. It's just you know what the outcome's going to be no matter what every time. So, but there's the MUT stuff adds a lot more variety to gameplay. It gives it's a nice twist, and and it's collecting, and it kind of scratches a few different itches. So yeah, I don't know what year. I'm going to guess. I'm going to say probably Madden 10, Madden 11. I would say is the first year that MUT came in. Do you have it there? I'll look it up. You talk.
I was looking for it. I think I seen something there that said Madden 10, Madden NFL 10 Ultimate First Look. There's an article on IGN that talks about fears Madden veterans and old systems gotten accustomed to acquiring Madden cards.
Yeah, Madden 10.
Was that it, Madden 10?
Yeah, Madden 10. So that's what I thought. Yeah, because I remember 9, I played most of that by myself. Then 10, I think I dabbled in it a little bit, but frankly, I didn't like it back then. I didn't like it when it first came out. I was like, oh, what's this? I'm not paying more. I'm like, I already bought $60 worth of Madden. What do I want to spend more money on? You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not trying to do that. And I still kind of feel that way. I mean, if somebody gives me a gift card or something, I might spend a few bucks on it or something, but I still don't feel like I'm not going to pay for MUT. I'll just play with whatever I can acquire.
Have you ever spent money on MUT?
Yeah. Not like cracked open my credit card and spent money though. Like, if I got, if I've, won gift cards or, been gifted something by somebody or that kind of thing. And I have if I happen to have an online balance, a Microsoft online balance, then I'll spend, $5 or something or here and there or whatever. But I've not like ever spent any significant amount of money, and never money I've ever earned. Like I'm not going to ever do that.
It's tempting.
Well, I mean, it's like DLC, right? I've spent, when I look at like the Star Wars game, Battlefront, that I love, I've spent $30 on the 2 DLC packs that have come out so far. I know you bought the DLC, the entire season pass to the Division, which is probably $50. So if you think of it in those terms, like if it's something you're going to play a lot, then financially, if you made a $50 commitment or a $30 commitment to Madden Ultimate Team, that would propel you to some serious, cards. That would move your account along quite a bit. So I guess if you look at it in those terms, like if that's all you're going to do and it equates to the same reward as buying a season pass or an expansion pack for another game that you love, I guess it makes sense. But, I don't know. I just still never thought of Madden in those terms that where I just hate microtransactions. I just hate it in any game.
Yeah, I agree. But it does make sense. I dropped $30 on Star Wars. I bought, what are the first 2 ones? Best Spin and, what's the other one?
Yeah, the Outer Rim.
Yeah. Anyway, so I bought those two DLCs. I bought the season pass for the Division, which I'm probably going to be kicking myself down the road because it just seems that game is dying, even though it's a lot of fun. But I got over 200 hours in the Division.
That's a lot.
I think it's a heck of a lot. Last year for Madden, I think that one time, remember we sat there and looked at both of us? I think I had over 400 hours.
Yeah.
You had a high 300 hours.
Yeah.
And so for $60 to go into 400 hours, that's a pretty good bang for your buck, And even if you put in, say you put an extra $60, say it was $120 for over 400 hours, that's still pretty good bang for your buck compared to most games you pay $60 for. You put in 50 to 100 hours and you're done. I think Fallout 4, massive game, I think I got 120 hours into that, and I haven't played it since, But I feel like I got my money's worth out of it, my satisfaction's worth.
Oh, heck, you got games like BioShock, you could spend 20 hours on it and you're done.
Yeah, just a good story.
Yeah.
A good story and stuff. So I don't know this year, but then with Madden it's different. I think with DLC, everybody's in the same playing field, and with Madden, if I was to drop $50 and go buy, the elite Todd Gurley, which seems to be the card this year, or one of the elite Adrian Peterson cards or something like that, or the Calvin Johnson old card, or it just seems like it'd be cheapening the experience for me to a certain degree, like Clash of Clans and buying gems, like there's a certain satisfaction with working for your paycheck instead of just hustling for your paycheck, And I think with Madden Ultimate Team, buying those luxury players takes away some of the fun of grinding till 4 a.m. to get that stuff, and then the satisfaction of actually having enough money, going to the auction house, bidding on them, and getting that card. I think if you just buy it outright, it would take away some of the enjoyment of actually getting it. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's where I'm coming from. Is that I feel like unless you have a reason to get, because you think of it in terms of the end game, right? Like if your end game is to get those monster players and to get your overall team rating to 95, say, then if you go out and buy it and just make it that way, then unless you're gonna have something you're gonna do with it, like play them competitively or whatever the case may be, then what was the point? Like to me, the fun is grinding to get there. Like last year, I remember. Last year was probably the most fun I ever had with Mutt, which is surprising because we were still in the throes of the league. But I played a lot of Madden Ultimate Challenge last year while we were waiting to get the league started. And there was a big challenge in there that was to get Marcel Reese, who was one of my all-time favorite players, Raider players, and favorite Madden players at that. And so there was a big challenge, and it was like you had to complete like all these different like team challenges, and you had to go get these different badges, and you had to get these different players, and you had to like complete all this stuff to kind of like put it all together to get him. And he was like a 93 overall rated. It was a monster card, but I did it all from scratch. I didn't pay for any of it. And when I got that Reese card, I was just like, yeah, like you said, it's just like, yeah, like I finally did it. Like all that work all culminated into getting that card. I never hardly used it, but you know what I mean? Because with Mutt, for some reason, he's not the same as like I would use him in a franchise or, normally use Marcel Reese. But like you can't really like put him in different positions like you do. But anyways, but that said, still getting that player and that card, it was a big deal. It was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very rewarding experience to go through and do all that. So yeah, hitting the fast forward button just to get to that spot. Again, unless you got a reason for it, I don't see any value in doing that.
Yeah, I think as tempting as it is, I can't do it.
I'd rather buy another game, frankly. Like if I'm going to spend $50 on something, I'll just buy another game. Like there's too many good games coming out. Like I'd rather experience Battlefield 1, or I'd rather, you know what I mean? Like I don't so much play Call of Duty anymore, but I played all of them except for the last one that came out. But like that, like I'd rather experience something new than to just get some cards. Like I don't know. There's a little bit of a thrill to the opening of the packs. I think that's that. And if you were to like buy an elite pack, I think that might be kind of fun because it's like you got something big coming and. If it's a Fred Biletnikoff or Charles Woodson or something like that? Like that might be kind of fun. But outside of that, I don't see the huge attraction to spending that kind of money on it.
Do you play Madden Mobile at all?
No, and I never will.
How come?
I don't know. It just doesn't. That kind of gaming to me just doesn't appeal. Not after playing Madden so much, the real thing, like the mobile game again. And it's all because the football gaming as a whole for me has kind of been ruined because of the online leagues.
The league, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that there's the other ways of playing it. Like they're not even that. Here's something, and this might be a little controversial. Not controversial, but questionable in what I'm getting ready to say. But it's the truth. It's almost taken away a little bit for me on game day. Like from the real life freaking NFL that we bleed and live for and love, and there's not a lot, but if before it was 100, it's 98 now. Like there's a little bit that's just been tainted because it's not like that's not my Raiders team. That's not my team I put together. That's a weak player. Why is that guy in there? Why is Nate Allen on the field? You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just, why is DJ Hayden playing the slot? The guy can't cover. Get rid of him. He's got a bad contract. Don't you know this? You know what I mean? So, yeah, that part of it is it really has. The franchise mode, online franchise mode, while the full league has tainted my whole overall football world, which is just crazy.
And maybe we could do a show about our post-league Madden blues. Post-league depression, postpartum depression and stuff, but we won't. As it is, Murph, it's been 60 minutes.
Sheesh.
We're supposed to do 3 topics each week.
We did Madden. We did Madden Ultimate Team, and we did
Madden franchise.
Madden franchise.
Franchise. We did tweaks to Madden, and then we did Madden. You
knew this was gonna happen.
It's Madden, and it's probably going to happen a few more times. Yeah.
We'll probably get more listeners.
Especially if we do a league and do a small little 4 or 5 man league, and I win the Super Bowl. It'll just be 60 minutes of me bragging about how awesome I am, and asking you to listen back to it and edit it and repost it in all its glory.
Oh my gosh!
All right, though, but let's keep it 60 minutes.
Okay.
Thanks for listening. This was a special episode of Degos On 3, talking about Madden. And all things Madden. It's easily my favorite game, the game I look forward to every year. The one game where my wife doesn't have the right to question whether I buy it or not. It's just a given in our family.
Hold on. I got to tell you something real funny before we sign off. Something really fun. And so that we'll keep a little bit on topic. Here's the family portion of it. Well, the other night, my wife goes, because we always kind of ask each other once the kids are kind of settled in, homework's done, everything's chilling out. So, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? I go, oh, no, I figured I'll hang out with you. I go, let's watch some Stranger Things or something, because she hadn't finished the series yet. And so she's like, okay, so we're laying down in bed and we're watching TV, and about 15 minutes goes by, and she pauses it, she looks over at me, and she goes, why are you here? And I go, what do you mean? She goes, why are you in here? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm hanging out with you. We're watching the show. And she goes, didn't Madden just come out? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, something's wrong. She goes, Madden just came out like a day ago. Why are you here downstairs watching TV with me? I'm like, honey, I love you. I wanted to hang out with you. She goes, something's going on. She's like, why? And I'm like, for real? I'm like, because we don't have the league and we don't have all that stuff going on, you know. But it's like, so, you know, or normally I would be like, my free time would be consumed with the Madden stuff. But no, but this year it was different, and so it's so funny how it's become like just such a thing in our house that, you know. But now it's like my wife, it was so cute, man. She like totally took notice. She's just like, wait a minute, like why are you here? Like you're supposed to be playing Madden with Sonny right now.
Oh Madden. Good stuff. All right, check us out. Facebook group Degos On 3, Twitter Degos On 3. Where else we at? Libsyn. Libsyn.com/Degos On 3. iTunes, Degos On 3. Are we on Stitcher yet? We're not on Stitcher yet. We'll be on Stitcher soon.
We should be on Stitcher. Yeah, we're not there yet. I sent in for it. I guess.
Okay, iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, Degos On 3.
I'll check.
Love the interactions on Twitter. We're going to talk about Last Chance U, but maybe we'll save that for next week.
Yeah, we need to talk about Last Chance U. Thank you, Ollie, for
that was cool. Retweeted us.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was tight.
Yeah.
That was tight. Anyway, any last thoughts, Josh, before we go?
No, that's it, man. Happy Maddening.
Happy Maddening to you all. Good day.
Thanks for checking out our podcast. Tune in each Tuesday morning for a new episode. Downloadable on iTunes and Stitcher. Facebook at Degos On 3. Twitter at Degos On 3. And DegosOn3.Libsyn.com.
There may be only ones of listeners in each state, but that's still a listener in each state, man.
Get your crap together, Wisconsin.